feel as if you're in the wrong job? Do you feel overly stressed at work? Do you feel agitated, by your work? Do you dread going into work? Well, watch and hopefully you'll find out how to avoid some of those pitfalls and to find out if your work is suitable for your personality. Well, I used to feel pretty much like that in work. I used to work in offices and I was feeling so stressed. I was not looking forward to going to work. It was a particularly large office. This was years back, and I just felt very uncomfortable there. I just wanted to get in and get out. I didn't like the gossip. I didn't like the office politics. I didn't like, the fact that you had to sort of almost ask just to use the restroom, the bathroom, all those things, just felt just so uncomfortable for me. I just didn't feel as if this was the thing that I should be doing. It didn't align with my personality, with who I was. And I always felt that there must be something a bit more than this, Can't spend my whole life in offices, and I didn't like it. I'd spend most of my time looking out of the window. So yeah, it wasn't for me. So I started to just reflect and think, well, what is it that I wanted to do? And so I actually left. I was working in a large office, and I actually left to pursue university, thinking, oh, maybe I want to go into teaching. So I left. I went as a mature student, did a PGCE, went to university, studied. I didn't study to teach in schools, went to do further education. So I went into teaching, did my course, my 3-year course, and I did some various courses afterwards, other courses afterwards, and then I got a job teaching, and at first it was fine, and then because it was colleges, I had to travel a little further afield, because there are fewer colleges and schools, so I had to travel a little bit further afield. So I was traveling like 20 odd miles just to get from home to the college, and sometimes I'd be working till sort of 9 in the evening because I'd be teaching evening classes. So and then had to zip back home in the dark along the motorway, country lanes, and then back again, for 9 in the morning. So that was kind of rough actually, and I found that at the end of the school year, the academic year, I was chasing students around, trying to get them give them the papers that I'd marked. I'd stayed up late marking, only to find, some of them had gone on holiday. And I just thought, what was the point? This was just I'm sure not all students are like that, but that was just my experience. Some of them were just not interested. And I just felt so deflated and thinking, why am I doing this? So anyway, that went on for a little bit. And then, a few years later, I raised children, and then after that, I decided, what am I going to do now? So I just thought, you know what, I am going to retrain, do something else. I don't want to go back into teaching because it was so stressful. There's so much paperwork. Teaching can be a 24/7 job if you allow it to be. It can go on and on and on. And so what I did, I just decided to sit down and think, what kind of person am I? What makes me uncomfortable about working in an office? And I thought, well, first of all, I get energy when I'm with fewer people. If I'm in a group of a large group of people, I actually lose energy with people all around me. I lose energy, right? But if I have fewer people, or even on my own, for example, if I'm on my own, I gain energy. I'm the kind of person that can be on my own quite happily. I get energy. I find things to do. There's always something to do. My mind is thinking, what can I do? I'm going to do this, do that, that. I'm just constantly doing things like that, and I'm happy doing that. And of course, it's lovely to see people occasionally, but generally I get energy when I'm on my own and or with a few people. I find that energizing. So that would probably one of the reasons that I wouldn't be too happy in an office, right? Yeah, so it's important to understand that about yourself. If you're the kind of person that gets energized by being alone, or with a few people, then maybe office work, large office may not be for you. It can be very de-energizing, and of course that can be stressful over time, and that can actually lead to illness over time. So we do have to be careful with the kind of work we do. We have to know who we are, what kind of people we are, to see what kind of work would suit us. Yeah, very important to know that. And I was so happy to find that out. Actually, and I didn't find that out until much later, but yeah, at least I know now, and hopefully you're you're able to find that out too if you haven't already. Yeah, so you may be the opposite. You may be the type of person that gets energized if you're surrounded by many people. Some people do, they have energy when they're with a whole group of people, which is fantastic. It's it's just great. You've just got to know the type of person that you are. If you're energized by being surrounded by many people, that's fantastic. It's good to know. Yeah, you might thrive in an office kind of environment. Yeah, wonderful. As long as you know who you are, that's important. But for me, I was the opposite. Energized when I'm on my own or with a few people. Okay, so that's one thing that's really important to know. The type of work you do, are you an outdoorsy person, indoors person? What kind of person, are you? Do you like to be outdoors? Are you energized by being outside most of the time? Or are you energized by being indoors most of the time, That's very important as well to find out. I actually like outdoors. I really do. But I don't know if I could work outdoors, like say, for example, in a garden centre or something. Beautiful place to work, but I'm not. I wasn't sure that I would be happy working outside all the time. Although I do like to enjoy fresh air, and go for walks and things like that. But I didn't think working outdoors was for me. So it's important to find out, are you an outdoor person or are you an indoor person, right? And I know that this might be late for some of you, but it's better late than never, right? I didn't find out until fairly late in life the kind of person I was, And so it's never too late. Once you've got the energy to do things, it's never too late to find these things out. Okay. So we've established whether you're an indoor person, whether you're an outdoor person, whether you like many people around you or whether you like a few people around you. Yeah. So now the type of work, okay. Are you suited to do something manual, or are you more academic? Yeah. Practical work or academic work, which do you prefer? Are you more hands-on, or are you more, do you like writing? Do you like administrative type tasks? Or do you like the practical work? Do you like things like, builder comes to mind, mechanic, engineer, nurse. Nurses are very practical. Or do you like teaching, the more sort of academic type thing? You've got to decide. Those are things that's important to know as well, because again, that's going to affect your state of mind. Yeah, it's going to affect whether you're going to enjoy going to work, whether you actually see it as work. Yeah, so, I mean, for me, I personally I do like to do hands-on work, but I like to balance it a little bit, with a little bit of written work. Not too much, but I just like the balance. And I like to work with a few people, or just on my own is fine. And I like to have a balance of indoor and outdoor. Yeah, so it's that's for myself. You may be the same, you may be different, you may be the total opposite, but it's just important to know what kind of person you are. In fact, in life, one of the most important things to learn, I mean, there's so much information that we can take in right now, but one of the most important things to know is to know who you are as a person, and the younger you can learn this, the better. But if you learn it in your 60s, it's still okay, right? If you learn it in your 50s, it's still okay. Yeah, it's still okay. It's just good to learn it at some point in life. Obviously, the earlier the better, but, if we're 60 and we're learning, fantastic, as long as we learn. So, yeah, very important to know who you are as a person, what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are, what energizes you, what de-energizes you is just as important to know, because those things, if there are too many of those things that de-energize you, those things can eventually lead to illness, and of course, a state of dissatisfaction, and if that's prolonged, it can lead to things like depression. There's all these things, stress, all these things are not good, obviously, yeah. So, and it can lead to physical illness, physical ailments, yeah, which, they just land in the body and stay there, and they come out as pain, they come out as illness. So we don't want that. Okay, so I would say it's very important to know who you are as a person. Analyze yourself. Like, look at your strengths. What makes you happy? What makes you sad? What makes you energetic? What takes away your energy? Listen to what people compliment you for. That can be a clue if you're not sure where to start. Look at what people have complimented you on in the past. Yeah. If somebody says, "Oh, you're good at DIY or something like that, you've done a good job there." Take note of things like that and see, is that something that, comes frequently, that pops up frequently. If somebody says, "Oh, you're good with hair," or whatever, then yeah, take note of those things. Maybe hairdressing could be for you, who knows? It's just, I think it's about, is it probably a couple of years course? I'm not sure how long the course is for hairdressing, but I guess you can find out at a local college if you need to, pursue that route. So it doesn't take long to retrain, really. It's just a matter of planning it in. If you're currently working a 9 to 5 or, in a job, you can be sort of planning on the side, and saving up for if you do need to train for a year or so. It might be that even if you go full-time in the UK anyway, I know, if you do train full-time, it's usually only something like 3 days a week. So you could still be working the other, whatever days per week, yeah? So full-time doesn't necessarily mean 5 days a week. Colleges at further education could be a 3-day a week. So it's worth checking in at a local college, if there's something that you think would suit you. Engineering, plumbing, hairdressing, massage therapy, beauty therapy, hospitality courses, all of these are very practical courses. Agriculture, find out, how many days per week is full-time, yeah, and then you can plan ahead. That's what I did. I mean, my course was full-time, and it was 3 days a week, so I could work the other days, yeah. So you're not totally without, but if you plan it very well and save towards that time when you're studying, then obviously that would make it easier. So it's not difficult to retrain, and it's a wonderful experience. You'll be surrounded by younger people, and you'll be probably, if you're over whatever 20 these days, you're over 30, you'll be the mature student in the class, and that's a nice thing. It actually helps us. I think having a mature student in classes actually helps to balance the classes out nicely. I mean, I speak as a both a mature student and a lecturer. I used to teach in further education, and having mature students in classes is actually really nice, because those people are really focused, really want to learn, and also they inspire the younger ones too. It can be a very stabilizing influence on the younger ones, because some young people are a little bit apprehensive, they're still young, but having an older person in the class, especially if they're, you're relatable, it does help. It does help with nice classroom dynamics. So, yeah, go for it. Don't that put you off, Take it from a further education lecturer. It's great. We love having mature students in classes because they're so keen to learn. They're very focused, and they're a good influence in the class. It's just much easier than having a whole bunch of, very young people who are not too sure. It's just a nice influence in the class. It's usually a stabilizing influence. So don't be afraid to study. So look into a course if you have a local college near you and you do fancy something, a change. You've analysed your personality, you've looked through and you've seen, yeah, I think I might be interested in this. Yeah, go and have a talk. The open days at colleges now and again. You just have to check with your local colleges to see when those are, and see, go and discuss with the tutors, what's involved in the course, how many days per week would it be, and then you'll still be surprised you'll be able to work and earn and study at the same time. Yeah, so so that's something there to do with training. So it's not difficult to retrain. But as I said, it would take planning, of course. If you're currently in a 9 to 5 job that you're not happy with, just plan. When you get home, just start planning and just looking around, maybe in college prospectuses. If there is something that you want to retrain, find out how long the course is for. Or if it's something, it might be something very creative that you can do, online, maybe, for example. I mean, are you good at technology? Could you design websites, for example, for people? Could you start your own business as a side hustle? Is it something that you're self-taught? Do you play an instrument? Could you teach that instrument? That's something you could do if somebody's complimented you on your teaching skills. You don't need, I think, to become a music tutor, a private tutor. I don't think you need to be a qualified teacher. You just need to have the ability to teach the instrument. But check that. Do check that in your local area. That's just as far as I'm aware. But yeah, do check on that. You probably just need a DBS certificate, because if you're working with young people, then you do need that. But just check those things. They're easy enough to check, and just go for it. Just see what is suitable for you. So I didn't stay in my work because after a while, it was quite obvious. I just didn't like it. I wasn't happy. So, like I said, I decided to make the change. And my latest venture, as a massage therapist, if you don't know already, I actually did that. I went to retrain in my late 50s, and I loved it. It was really good. You plan it, you go, so that you have the finances. I knew it was only 3 days a week, so that was doable. Went ahead and did that for 2 years. It was 2 years, yeah. And I really enjoyed it, and did really well, because obviously as a mature student you're focused. So if that is something that is you were apprehensive about doing, I would say go for it. Go for it. Don't worry about it. Just do it. I think you'll enjoy it, especially if it's something that aligns with who you are as a person. But before you can actually do a course, find out, write down a list of your strengths, your weaknesses, just the things that you like. Are you an indoors person, outdoors person? Are you a practical person? Are you hands-on? Are you a sort of more academic type? Would you like to actually work for someone else, doing different job, or would you like to be self-employed? That's something else to consider, isn't it? Do you actually prefer to work for yourself? And if so, maybe that's something you could start doing, obviously, while you're working your 9 to 5. If you're still working, that is. Something that you could plan, but don't just spend the evenings just in front of the TV, just wasting away time. I know sometimes it's easy to do that. You come from work and you just sort of flop in front of the TV. At least do a couple of evenings where you can actually plan and think carefully about your next move, and analyze yourself and think what kind of work you would like to do, whether it's self-employment. Think about if it is self-employment, think about contacting your local business advisor in the area. Pretty often it's free advice you can get, and I'm sure there'd be advice online, for that, but more than likely you would have free advice in your local area, free business advice in your local area, which is very useful. I found that very useful for myself. There may even be a grant, startup grant, that you could get if you are interested in self-employment. That's obviously very useful too. And your business advisor, if there are grants available, would help you with that process. They help you with the process of how to keep books, how to how to keep your books, how to well, basically all the innings and outs of being self-employed. They give you the advice that you need. So basically it's very helpful. I found it very helpful indeed to do that. So so those are just a few tips. Yeah, I hope those are helpful. I just came on here just before I went out, but I thought, oh, maybe this is useful for people. So, if you're in a 9 to 5 and it's making you ill, you don't have to stick to it. There are ways that you can, get yourself out of that. You could probably reduce your hours as well, if you are really becoming ill or very stressed. Because I know a lot of people these days are doing jobs that 2 people would normally do. There's a lot of that going on with all the cutbacks and and some people are cold in their workplaces because of the cutbacks. We're living in difficult times. So I know I've been in a few shops and I'm thinking, wow, how do these employees work in here? I have to really pull my coat together. It's really nippy in some of the shops. And I know some offices, people are keeping their coats on. That's incredible, isn't it, in this day and age? But that's how rough it is, Not saying all those problems will be solved, but at least if you make a move into something that you enjoy, then that's eased the pressure off a little bit, because the work that I'm doing currently, I'm doing massage therapy, and I love it. I have my own treatment room, and it's just nice just being able to have your autonomy to do, you design the room the way you want it, you buy the blankets that you want, you paint the walls whatever you want, work hours whatever you want. I mean, today I've got a day off, so I'm going out now for a little, time out. But I thought I'd just come on here just for a little while and then just share with you a few tips that I've learned along the way and hopefully can help you. But I hope you do make changes, because I know it can be stressful if you are in work that you are not enjoying, and it's you don't. Stress is the last thing we need, really. We really don't. Our bodies need to be more relaxed, calmer. We need to be in work that you at least enjoy. And so if it becomes very busy, it's bearable because you actually enjoy it. Yeah. I mean, there are days when I go in and it doesn't feel like work to me, because I actually love it and I have lovely clients, and I'm sure that they are lovely because I'm enjoying what I'm doing. And it's the same with you. When you're in work that you enjoy, you'll find that will radiate to the people that you are working with, or, that if you have customers or clients, it will feed into that, and you will have better days, basically. Okay, so I hope that those tips are very useful, and I hope they help someone. Please leave a comment if you find it useful. Please leave a comment on what you would like me to discuss next. I'd really appreciate that. And don't forget to subscribe, yeah? Because I'm a small channel at the moment, so I really appreciate your help. Okay, so I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Take care.